We live in a world where you can get almost anything delivered and fast. But behind that speed, there's this incredible hidden system. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible engine that powers our global economy, air cargo logistics.
Think about it. You click buy on your phone, and a couple of days later, a package that was on the other side of the planet is sitting on your doorstep. It feels like magic, right? Well, it's not. It's this massively complex system working almost perfectly just behind the scenes.
You know, a great way to think about it is like the circulatory system of the global economy. Seriously, just like your veins and arteries carry blood, this network carries all the vital stuff that keeps our world running. We're talking everything from life-saving medicines to, the very phone you might be holding right now. Okay, so let's get into it. To really get how this all works, you first have to appreciate just how huge this invisible network is. So, what exactly are we talking about when we say global air cargo? At its core, it's pretty much every single step involved from the moment a shipment is booked to the second it's delivered. And trust me, it's way more than just putting boxes on planes. It's this whole complex dance of ground handling, security, sorting, and that final last-mile delivery to your door. And here's the really important part. By weight, air cargo is actually a tiny, tiny fraction of all global trade. But for certain industries, it's everything. I mean, for things that are super time-sensitive or have a high value, think pharmaceuticals, the latest tech, or even fresh flowers, there's just no other way to do it. Speed is the whole game. The whole point of this system is that it's supposed to be seamless, right? Almost invisible. But what happens when a key piece of that invisible machinery just breaks? Let's dive into a case study to see exactly that. And this isn't some theoretical exercise. This was a real announcement from Qatar Airways Cargo, and it's stark. It shows just how fast things can fall apart. You have one thing go wrong, an airspace closure, and suddenly one of the biggest cargo airlines in the world grinds to a complete stop. And you can just watch the dominoes fall. Day one, the airspace closes. Boom. Day two, a massive global hub is basically cut off from the world. By day three, they're not even taking new shipments. The ripple effects from something like this, they're instant and they are huge. So the invisible engine just stops. And that really shows you the fragility that's hiding right behind all that efficiency. Which brings up a really big question. How is this kind of chaos normally prevented? What's going on behind the scenes to keep the whole thing from falling apart every day? And that's where we get into the real science of this. Because this isn't just about moving boxes from A to B. It's about intense, high-stakes math and optimization. It's the brains that keep this massive machine humming along. You see, the journey of just one package has all these different stages. First, you have to combine thousands of little shipments to make it cost-effective. Then there's the super fast ground handling and security. And then the final delivery. Every single one of those steps is a potential bottleneck, and it all has to be managed perfectly. Someone once described it as playing Tetris with billions of dollars at 30,000 feet. And honestly, that's not far off. You've got this limited amount of space, a million packages of different shapes and sizes, and you have to somehow fit them all together perfectly to make the most money. And the whole time, the clock is ticking. And believe it or not, there are brilliant researchers who spend their entire careers just trying to solve these puzzles. Some are obsessed with consolidating shipments to save a few bucks. Others are mapping out the absolute most efficient routes across oceans. And then you've got the ones focused on revenue management, literally trying to squeeze every last penny of profit out of every single inch of cargo space. It's just a constant, relentless push for more efficiency. Okay, so we've established that the system is super complex and, well, pretty fragile. So how do we make it stronger? How do we future-proof it? Well, more and more, the answer is technology. Researchers are really zeroing in on a few key areas where tech can make the biggest difference. We're talking about digitalization, getting rid of all the paper. We're talking about AI and forecasting, using computers to predict what's going to happen next. And we're talking about advanced risk management, building better ways to handle it when things go wrong. And the change is, frankly, dramatic. You know, the old way was all paper documents, manual planning, and a lot of human guesswork. The new way? It's digital e-freight, AI-optimized networks, and predictive forecasting. Just imagine an AI that can reroute thousands of packages in a split second because an airspace just closed. A team of people could never do that. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. It's actually happening right now. You have projects like AI Cargo that are crunching massive amounts of data to build these really smart systems that make better, faster, and, yep, more profitable decisions than we've ever been able to before. And if you want to look even further down the road, get this. Researchers are now looking at quantum computing to solve logistics problems that are just impossible for today's machines. We're talking about a technology that could totally change the game for how global supply chains are managed. So, we've seen how complex this all is, how fragile it can be, and what the future might hold. What's the big takeaway here? Well, it really all boils down to just how interconnected our world has become. So, let's just quickly recap. First, air cargo is that high-speed backbone for critical industries. It's absolutely essential. Second, the system is incredibly complex, and it relies on constant optimization. Third, a single problem, like an airspace closing, can cause massive ripple effects. And finally, tech like AI isn't just a cool bonus anymore. It's absolutely crucial for managing risks and keeping things running smoothly in the future. But I want to leave you with one final question to think about. As our global supply chains get smarter and more optimized, do they also get more fragile? Is there a risk that in our push for perfect efficiency, we're making the whole system more brittle, more vulnerable to that one unexpected shock? It's a huge question for our modern world.